There are hundreds of DSLR cameras on the market right now, and it can be challenging to pick a model that both suits your purpose and fits your budget. To help you navigate this vast and often complicated world of cameras, we have rounded up the 10 best DSLR camera currently on the market, taking into consideration each one's price and feature level. Nikon D3500. Launched at the end of 2018, the Nikon D3500 is the best DSLR around for beginners looking to embrace creative, manual photography. It does a fine job capturing candids and other casual shots. The rear screen is fixed, and you're limited to full HD video rather than 4K, but the 24-megapixel sensor delivers super sharp images, and the retracting 18 to 55mm kit lens is rather good too. It is lightweight, weighing just 415 grams. Nikon says it's upgraded its sensor and XPEED image processing system to give improved speed, detail, and colors. It's also upgraded the battery life, quoting a pretty amazing 1,550 shots on a single charge. The autofocus on the camera can be a bit limited, especially if you are dealing with tricky lighting situations or very fast-moving subjects. Overall, the D3500 is an affordable camera that is simple enough to not be intimidating, but features enough tech that a young photographer could grow into it. Canon EOS Rebel SL3. The Canon Rebel SL3 is one of the smallest SLR available. It uses a 24.1-megapixel APS-C format sensor. Because it has a vari-angle touchscreen on the back and a sensor with Canon's dual-pixel CMOS AF technology, the autofocus in live view is really snappy. The lens design uses 12 elements in 10 groups and has optical image stabilization to minimize camera shake up to 4 stops when shooting in low light. Its battery life is rated to 1070 frames per charge, making the camera one of the best in its class in this area. The SL3 has a jack for an external microphone, although you may have to tweak the audio setting to suit your mic using the sound recording setting. Despite a few drawbacks, such as a proprietary hot shoe and a flash that must be manually activated, the Canon Rebel SL3 is a very good beginner camera and one of the few that records video in 4K. Canon EOS Rebel T100. This entry-level budget DSLR from Canon focuses on value first and features second. It's got a button configuration that's simplified and streamlined for new DSLR users, including the off switch, now part of the camera's mode dial. It's also lightweight at 436 grams. The camera offers on-the-go image and video transfers via Wi-Fi and the Canon Connect app. Unfortunately, as far as entry-level cameras, the Canon T100 has quite a list of downsides. It has a much older sensor, a dated autofocusing system with just 9 AF points, a slow burst rate of only 3 FPS, and only 1080-pixel video shooting capability. What's more is its battery life is rated at a measly 500 shots. That's without mentioning a smaller 2.7-inch display that has no touchscreen capabilities and the lack of Bluetooth connectivity. That said, the Canon EOS Rebel T100 is an appealing proposition for economizing consumers, especially those who want to get away from their smartphones and learn the basics of photography. Canon EOS 90D. The Canon EOS 90D is positioned as the ultimate general-purpose camera. It is made of a combination of aluminum alloy and polycarbonate resin with glass fiber. Headlining new features for this Digic 8-powered camera model include a brand new ultra-high-resolution 32.5-megapixel CMOS imaging sensor with improved high-performing dual-pixel CMOS AF that includes IAF, very fast 10 FPS continuous shooting, and 4K Ultra HD video with again unprecedented EOS Movie Servo AF performance. The 90D has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which provide easy transfer of images and movies to compatible devices. It contains LPE6N lithium-ion battery, which can deliver an amazing 1,550 shots on a single charge. Designed specifically for serious videography, it doesn't just have an external mic socket, but a headphone socket too. The bottom line is that if I had to pick a single do-everything-well DSLR camera that does not cost a fortune, the 90D would be a perfect choice. Nikon D7500. The Nikon D7500 is a mid-range APS-C DSLR. It features a 20.9 megapixel CMOS sensor, which is a lower resolution compared to its predecessor, but is said to have better performance at high ISO speeds. Designed for enthusiasts, it offers a slightly faster 8 FPS continuous shooting speed, a proven 51-point autofocus system, and the ability to capture 4K video at 30 FPS. It has a tilting rear screen and relies on slower contrast AF and live view mode, but if you do most of your shooting through the viewfinder, these will be small points. On the top, the D7500 has a traditional PS/AM mode dial with a button to lock it in place. There's a separate dial just below it, which is used for selecting the drive mode. Battery life is rated at 950 shots per charge, which is pretty good. To sum up, the Nikon D7500 does not boast any dramatic new technologies, but it does fill a significant gap in the range. Nikon D780. The Nikon D780 is a marriage of everything great from both the DSLR world and the new Z mirrorless world. It is a 24-megapixel DSLR, capable of shooting 12 frames per second in live view and uncropped 4K video at 30 FPS. Nikon upped the usefulness for landscape and nightscape, long exposure photography significantly by extending the native shutter speed range from the typical 30 seconds to whopping 900-second exposures. The Expeed 6 image processing engine means the camera is capable of ample speed, making it an affordable sports flagship alternative. The D780 has dual UHS 2 memory card slots, which is a nice surprise, and an extremely impressive 2,260-shot battery life, though we expect this would drop substantially with extensive use of the live view mode. In conclusion, the D780 is an extremely capable camera and will probably be the choice for many photographers in situations. Canon EOS 6D Mark II. The Canon EOS 6D Mark II is the company's latest full-frame DSLR aimed at advanced amateurs and enthusiasts. Its all-new 26-megapixel sensor has dual-pixel technology for accurate autofocus during live view shooting, and it gains the same 4 to 5-point autofocus system from the crop sensor EOS 80D for viewfinder shooting. Like the original 6D, the 6D Mark II has GPS location tracking built in. You get built-in Wi-Fi too, and both NFC and Bluetooth. The vari-angle rear touchscreen makes the most of Canon's fast dual-pixel CMOS AF and live view mode. Also on board is Canon's 5-axis digital image stabilization for handheld video recording. There is a 4K time-lapse option, which stitches images together into a 4K resolution video. There's also a microphone input, although there's no headphone socket if you wish to monitor audio. Finally, even though the price increase is pretty substantial, the EOS 6D Mark II also brings some pretty substantial improvements. Nikon D850. The Nikon D850 is Nikon's latest high-resolution full-frame DSLR, boasting a 46-megapixel backside illuminated CMOS sensor. The camera can shoot up to 30 FPS in 4K, as well as up to 60 FPS in HD. There is the maximum continuous shooting speed of 9 FPS at full resolution, and with a buffer capacity of 51 uncompressed 14-bit RAW files. Its sensor has been designed with no anti-aliasing filter so that it can capture the finest possible detail. Autofocus is fast and positive, though the speed of acquisition will also depend on the lens you're using and its autofocus actuators. The rear screen's high resolution creates a super sharp image for live view photography, and the touch focus option is simple and intuitive to use. According to Nikon, it will eke out 1,840 shots on a single charge, and that is truly impressive. All in all, the Nikon D850 is a very solid and impressive tool that can satisfy any photography need. Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. The Canon EOS 5D Mark IV is still a very effective all-purpose full-frame DSLR for professionals. It is built around a new 30.4 megapixel CMOS sensor and uses the Digic 6 Plus processor. 4K video capture is a welcome addition to this camera, and users can record in either 24 or 30 pixels, albeit with a 1.64x crop. The burst rate is a respectable 7 frames per second, and the Mark IV can now sustain this to shoot 21 RAW files before the buffer needs to take a breather. Canon says this sensor's on-chip digital-to-analog conversion delivers improved noise performance and dynamic range. It has external microphone and headphone ports, as well as HDMI mini out and USB 3.0 terminals. Canon claims the LP-E6N battery is good for around 900 shots on a single charge. In a nutshell, the Mark IV is a favorite professional workhorse that's good in lots of areas, but doesn't exactly excel anywhere. Pentax K-1 Mark II. The Pentax K-1 II is the company's flagship full-frame DSLR, offering the best image quality you can get from any K-mount camera. Its key selling points are its 36.4 megapixel sensor, its powerful shake reduction 2 system, and its sturdy build. The 5-axis stabilizer can work in trick modes to deliver anti-aliasing correction, an increase in fine detail and texture based on pixel shift through multiple exposures. Low-pass filters are used on most cameras to slightly blur ultrafine detail and prevent interference effects with fine patterns or textures. It weighs in a whopping 2.22 pounds. This weight is in part due to the magnesium alloy body that is hidden underneath the wonderfully textured body covering. There are dual SD slots for recording images and video, and the included rechargeable DLI-90 battery is rated for 670 shots per charge. Finally, if what you want is a solid high-quality stills camera at an affordable price, the Pentax K-1 Mark II deserves some serious attention.